So it's interesting to see. It's very emotional because it's like they're community babies, each and every one of them, right? I don't get it. So
we'll get them.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dining room studio and the strongly worded podcast after a long break.
We're still alive.
We are still here. My name is Sue O'Lear.
And I am Johnny Hampton.
We are coming at you from our studio on our normal Sunday afternoon. This season 3 has had some fits and stops and starts, and we are doing a hard reset on season 3. We're going to start fresh and do it again. We have had a lot going on in our non-podcast life that has prevented us from sitting down, and we have screwed up some scheduling with some of our guests lined up, and then we finally sat down to get it right one day, and I had a total equipment failure, and so I think we just decided to record scratch, put the brakes on, finish some things we needed to get finished so we could refocus
and be ready,
like we tell our teams all the time. We got to lock in, and we got to get some season 3 happening before we go on vacation next month. And we appreciate everybody sticking with us. We're just going to catch everybody up on some things today, and then we're going to, I think, maybe get it, reintroduce our season 3 topic and just start fresh.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what have you been up to the last 2 months we haven't recorded or released an episode, Johnny?
I've been coaching a lot of basketball.
A lot of basketball.
A lot of basketball. Let's see. So, coaching in the rec league. Mm-hmm. And then we started our travel basketball organization. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing
our premier season. Our premier.
First season ever.
Yeah, so there's a lot to go with it. I mean, pulling together
I don't think people understand who are in my life that I'm running a business.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I get it.
I don't think they get it.
And when you're running a business, I've said this myself, when we open the studio, mm-hmm. My first of 2 major lessons I learned was it was no longer about helping people get more fit. And it was about, do we have the money to keep the light bill paid? Has somebody mopped the floor? Is there toilet paper in the bathroom? That window is filthy so they can't see our son. Became about the business of fitness instead.
Right. So, there is rarely a time from 9 to 5 or even later that I am not getting some kind of message either from the board of Flagler United or you who does the fundraising or a parent or, talking with my different partners on where we're going to practice and what the tournament's going to be, how the teams are looking, what we're doing wrong, what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's enjoyable, mm-hmm. but it's a lot.
It is a lot. I wonder if, is it difficult to be both the president of the organization and a coach?
Yes, which is why I only coach 2 teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of kids are always saying, "Oh, why don't you coach it?" I can't. I'm not coaching every team.
Right.
That's why you have to let people do what they do sometimes.
Yeah, you have to have good people around you.
You have the people you trust.
Absolutely.
And because it is hard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I couldn't coach all 6 teams or be on the staff of all 6 teams. Mm-hmm. Started out, I was going to be the assistant on 2 more. I couldn't even do that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's tough.
It is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I would work with my business partner on schedules, and there were months that were tougher than others, and so I would end up on the schedule for 16 classes.
Yes.
I was very often the 5 a.m. instructor and the last instructor of the night, and trying to get personal training clients in the middle because, I didn't have to pay me extra,
Yeah.
right? So when we were trying to keep afloat in the beginning.
And so in my real life, my real job, I'm an accountant, right? So I'm a numbers guy. And imagine, so we have 6 teams with Flag United. 5 boys, 1 girl. At any given weekend, that's 18 games. Because most tournaments guarantee you 3 games. In addition, the 2 practices a week.
For each team, not all together.
For each team. So that is 12 practices a week. If I had to coach more than 2 teams, there's just no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Right.
So.
And that's what you do on top of, we have the rec league running concurrently, concurrent to the beginning of our travel season.
Right. And the reason for that is you got to get the kids ready. And so, you can't just go to these tournaments and not have practice.
Right.
Even with all the practices we've been doing in the inaugural year, we see teams that are much more refined than we are. They know what they're doing.
Do they practice more?
I think they've been in business longer. I don't think they practice more. So I think there are some organizations that do practice more, but they charge you more, like $1,000,
right,
or more. Like your DMEs of the world and all that kind of stuff. They charge you a lot of money, and they have access to things that we don't have access to. There's other people who don't, like the guy we played today. He was saying, we don't got access. That other team goes around and picks who they want. We don't.
He seemed like a pretty decent guy.
He is. We can't do that, and neither can we. So some of those, but some of them play together for a while, and that's the goal. So if you give them a good experience,
they'll come back.
They'll know how each other play and all that good stuff. So we'll see. But it's been fun so far.
For me, I'm doing a lot of the same things you're doing, right? The 2 teams you coach, I get to help you out with. And then the rec league, I'm, a volunteer. So our game days, I'm there, or I'm running my kids to and from practice, or, my husband and son coach a team too. So, there's something basketball related, probably for me, 4 or 5 days a week versus your 7, really.
Yeah.
And then my job went right into its high season, like overnight. When I started at that property, I was like, oh yeah, I like the off season. Oh yeah. I can live my life and I can handle this commute and I can still get where I need to be. And then pretty much overnight, I work in amenity management. And so as soon as the spring weather came,
started jumping off.
And
so, that's where I'm lucky. I recently got a new job. I left a company I'd been working for 12 years, and I work from home now. And the people I work with is so funny. Like I've never met them in person, but it's a really good team. And part of the deal is, hey, you got to get this work done. I'm not going to stress you over it, but you got to get it done. We'll have meetings when we have to go over it. And so, thank goodness for that, because if I get a text on my phone while I'm working, I don't gotta worry about anybody. Hey, why are you on your phone in the office?
Right.
I'm chilling at home. So that gives me the ability to do different things.
It's an interesting place to be. Like where I am now, at the property where I am now, I have promoted from where I was when I worked here in town. And I don't work from home, but similarly, I'm kind of the master of my own day, like my own fate each day. I can, if I need to get away, most times, not all the time, but most times if I need to get away to do something, I can, because I'm in charge of myself, but there's somewhere else I got to put it, so I can feel sometimes where when I'm walking out to come, to try to get to practice, if I'm walking out of the office at 3:30 or 4, I feel like they're like, sometimes I can feel an employee being like, oh, must be nice. But, you know, it is nice. I've worked really hard for this opportunity. And you know what? I will guarantee you I will get a text or have to get on my laptop or send an email or maybe get a message from you while I'm at the announcer's table or, you know.
To the victor goes the spoils.
Right. You know.
Like, you know.
I am always on call. You get to punch out and go home.
When you get into a position of power like that, you do get certain responsibilities. At the same time, like you said, you know, something happens, we'll be at the gym, it'll be a Saturday, and you'll get a call. And you got to answer.
Yep.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to me yesterday, and I was happy. I don't think she listens to the podcast, but if she was, my assistant, I was happy to pick up the phone and answer your questions yesterday. But I was standing in the gym with, you know, the game about to tip.
Right. So, you know, if you want those kind of privileges, you got to take the responsibilities that come with them.
Right.
So,
yeah.
People don't really understand that.
Yeah.
They just want...
Until they get into it. Yeah.
Well, this might not be for me.
It's true. And it's not for some people. You know, I get it. I remember just this time last year looking at my general manager where I was before, and like we were in a shutdown, and somehow I'm working harder and getting overtime, and he's getting more and more tan. I was like, wait a minute, what is happening here?
Something's
what is
not
happening
right
here? Yeah. But it all worked out. But anyway, so yes, so for me personally, we're doing all this basketball, and my job went into high gear. I had 2 kids graduate a couple days ago.
Yes.
So all the stuff leading up to that was a lot and emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. Graduation's always emotional.
Yeah.
Even when it comes around, it makes you I even think about my own. It's like, man.
Yep.
I remember that day, 20-something.
30 for me, 30 years ago. I graduated in 1991.
94 for me. So it's like, man.
Yeah. One thing that I remember about my graduation day so clearly was that on that day, it felt like everybody was friends. Like the cliques disappeared for a minute. We were all out there lining up and we were all, I don't know, together. We were all connected. We were all excited about the same thing, like regardless of who hung out with whom or whatever, you know.
I just remember being so aware that after that day, things were not going to be the same. Yeah. And I think a lot of kids don't understand that. Like some of these friends who you are really tight with, you're not going to see them no more.
No.
You know, they're not going to be around like they used to be. You might reconnect, but the relationship as it stands is not going to be the same. Yeah. And I remember that because, like, you know, me and my best friend, our relationships kind of stayed the same, but he left for college right after that. He was in the marching band at Hampton University. He had to get down there. He basically got in the car after graduation and was gone. You know, so someone who I saw every day, hung out with every day, all of a sudden was gone. And there was no cell phones back then.
Right.
And stuff like that. So I didn't see him for months. And those are the types of changes. You know, people go off and find their careers and go away to college. It's different. Make new friends.
When I had the opportunity to be a guest on a podcast about theater school.
That was I listened to that, by the way.
And hopefully we'll be able to have them come on our show, the hosts of that. But one of the things that I said or, you know, alluded to was email was brand new. We weren't using it to keep in contact with her. Like if you wanted to keep in contact with a friend from high school, what did we do? You called when you were home on break, maybe? Called your parents' house?
Or you had to write an actual letter.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I have a really beautiful, amazing photo that I know you've seen. I have it on Facebook right now of my boys and their friends in their caps and gowns with their arms around each other. And I'm glad that I have that because
you know.
I know.
Because you know.
Yeah.
So
and each one of them has a story. I mean, think about the kids in that picture.
Yeah, but you know, it's
something that could make it challenging from jump.
It's entirely possible that they will continue to be friends. It's entirely possible. But
one's going to be a dad.
It's going to take.
One's going to, one's facing some other,
Yeah, and like
trying to
I talked to the
straighten
one.
some issues out, and one's,
Yeah, I talked to the one who's going to be a dad, and we had a conversation before one of our rec league games, and he was telling me his plans, and his life is going to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to go straight to work, and it's going to be 6:00, and some of these guys who are in school may have the energy to hang out, and he might be like, yo, I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. I got to go home and take care of this little one. I got to go see my kid.
These are the subtle changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm so glad both my boys ended up being able to graduate. Both of them.
Listen, yeah, they're both good kids, and they got to experience it together, and not her off. 18 years old.
Well, sort of off. They're both still in the
No,
other room.
I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
you know what I mean. Hey, listen,
No,
I went to a city university, and I was at home till I was. Yeah, I was 20. It's right before I was 22. Yeah, right before I was 22. So,
my parents weren't pushing me out the door. I just happened to go away to school.
my parents wanted me to go away. They wanted me to have that experience, but we did not have the money.
Yeah.
So I did what I thought was right.
Yeah.
So
Joseph made a good choice like that too. He had the opportunity to go away.
I spoke to him about that too. I don't know if he remembers, but I told him that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I said to him, your parents were the same as mine. Like, they may want you to go away, but if you don't, they're not going to be disappointed.
Right.
You're going to go get a job. They're not going to stress you. You know what I'm saying? They might say, hey, if you're not going to be home at a certain time, let us know, or, stay where you are. Or,
Right.
They might not even do that. Like, I lived in an apartment. It was much different. You can come in the house, go in the room, go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to, what people don't understand about it being that age is you got to make the right decisions for you, right? So some people want to go away, want to experience new things. Some people, it may not be for them. They don't want the loans. They don't want. Some people may not want to go to college.
Right.
Want to learn a trade, go do an apprenticeship with somebody. Those are all good decisions. None of them are bad.
Yep.
None of them are bad. And they'll get you where you want to go.
I was talking with Joseph the other day about how college, he's very concerned that he doesn't know what he wants to do yet. And because he wants what he studies to reflect what he does. And I get that, but that happens so rarely. You studied accounting and you're an accountant.
Yeah.
I studied psychology. I first studied acting and then I studied psychology, and I am now, the general manager of an amenity center. And do I feel like my degree was wasted because I'm not a clinical psychologist or an actress? Absolutely not. I'm a very comfortable and competent public speaker. I am, when we're coaching the girls, I think I utilize my psychology background quite a bit to try to understand them and help them cope and you know what I mean? Like, none of that was wasted just because my job title isn't one of those things.
When you're resolving problems and you have to get into the psyche of someone who's complaining.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a kid who's acting out. Like those things do count. But yeah, I mean, in this country, you go to college so you can have the piece of paper that allows you to get in the door somewhere.
Absolutely. And that's it's so true. Like it or not. And I do think that committing to a degree, whether it's an associate's or a certificate or a 4-year or to it than just what you study in school. You're committing to a goal. You're seeing something through. You're having the discipline to study and pass the classes. And, there are other lessons besides just whatever degree you end up with at the end of the day that are important. And it gives you a place to kind of hang out and continue to mature.
That too. It's a good bridge. between what they think is adulthood.
Right? Because adulthood is quite like owning a business. You think it's about one thing, but it's about making sure you have money to keep the lights on, or the toilet paper in the bathroom, or food in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. Like, so, a lot of kids at 18 are like, oh, I'm grown now. Nah, you don't know what that's about. Like, I look at some of these kids, and some of them, it's like, you've never really worked. You've never been in love.
Yeah.
You haven't experienced life yet.
Yeah.
Like, you never really had your heart broken. Like, these things are all part of that experience you're talking about as you go forth in life. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what a lot of these kids do afterwards, because I know I'll see them around.
Yep.
I've known a lot of them. It was an emotional day for me, and I didn't have a kid graduating.
Yeah, but you had a bunch of kids graduating.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, I met a lot of these kids. Like, I met your son when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
I met some of his friends when they were in 7th grade. And so it's interesting to see. It's very emotional because it's like they're community babies. Each and every one of them, right?
You just named the episode.
Yeah. That's what they are. And you want to see them do well. You feel like you have a stake. Like when you coach basketball, you see them at the gym. And I'm the type of person, even if I never coached you, if I know you know me, I'm going to try to give you some words. Like, for instance, the kid who was becoming a dad, I never coached him once. But I took him to the side, and it's a responsibility. Because I was only 21 when I became a dad, so not much older than him. But that 3 years is a big deal. Yeah. I was so much more mature at 21 than I was at 18. And he said he's ready, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. He'll get ready.
Yeah, he's right.
He'll get ready.
But he says he's looking forward to it, and his family is supportive. So,
and that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. It was interesting to sit in the stands because I did think about our podcast and our season a little bit, sitting in the stands, watching parents cheering for their kid, or seeing the family members that came to celebrate and support. Gio had a family member come from out of state to watch him walk.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, people graduating high school is still a big deal.
It is a big deal. And so many kids overcome so much to get there. And when I was graduating, I didn't realize that, because I didn't. I mean, we all have our own stuff, our own experiences growing up, and but anything that I went through growing up was not something that was challenging my ability to graduate high school.
Like some of these kids, you find out when you coach, like you find out all kinds of stuff.
You find out all kinds of stuff.
I think some of these kids.
It's the same when you're a personal trainer.
Yeah, exactly. You talk to people. Like, some kids can't make it to school sometimes. Some kids, parents is working 2 jobs and they ain't trying. There's so much that goes on that we don't know about. Yeah. That even teachers don't know about. Yeah. There could be a reason, this kid's not doing their homework. They don't got no Wi-Fi at the house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many things go into that, and it's such a celebration when they graduate high school. And so I watched it. I watched one of them. I wanted to watch both, but I was slammed at work, and one of them was at 4 p.m. Because I have some kids that graduate from the other school that I wanted to see, but I didn't get a chance to. But I watched the FPC one, and I watched it all the way through. And even through the song that girl sung.
Bless her heart. First off, how is that sound system so horrible? Because I am guessing she's not a bad singer. From where I was, the sound system was horrible. I felt terrible for her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Next topic.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations to her for the great opportunity to sing.
Yeah.
And
but the sound system was horrible. Everybody was hard to hear. Even the principal. I mean, all the speeches live, like when you were in the room.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
I feel like the kids of our generation were better public speakers.
Yeah. I believe that.
And there's no knock on the people's speeches that were, please, parents, I'm not killing your kid. I'm just...
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when Tiara graduated, it's like these seem like boilerplate typists. Like, are the teachers not letting them be themselves? Like, you got to write about this. Maybe you should hit this. It seems like our speeches had a lot more, even from the principal down. Like, it was bland to me. Like, there was no personality in it. I was like, man, like.
I read an article in Flagler Live and it kind of outlined what the FPC speeches said and what Matanzas speaker said. And the Matanzas, I don't remember if it was I don't remember which student it was that spoke about what had happened in the last year.
Let's go.
Talked about marching and talked about the insurrection and talked about living through election season. And listen, I understand that at FPC and we suffered a loss when we lost our principal. And I get that.
Let's talk about that too, though.
But can we really talk about it then? We also lost a student.
More than one. This is what I'm saying.
Like, if we're gonna, talk about loss, let's go there.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I didn't see the Matanzas speech, but I read, and just in reading the topics, I thought, well, that seems more honest.
So now I gotta go
authentic.
home and try to find that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it, because that's what these were. Yeah, like what these kids went through.
Yeah.
Is a big deal.
It's a lot.
Okay.
And they said resiliency, but they didn't illustrate it.
They didn't talk about it.
They didn't talk about it.
You're like, they're like, yes. So I felt like there was, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's restrictive. I don't, sometimes.
It's very vanilla.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And it's cool. It's like I was watching Dawson's Creek.
A little bit, yep.
Sorry if you're too young for that reference.
We've been through some shit in the last year. Just look at our Facebook memories. Our Facebook memories right now are about marching.
Yes, the Benel Peace Walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, I was, happy to see it, and it was, good, very good. My son actually watched a lot of it with me, too.
Did he?
Which, was always a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's neat. It was fun. It was a really fun experience. It, is crazy. And I know you've already experienced it. It's crazy to think that my little baby boy, that we made it this far and that.
Right. And we didn't mess him up.
I guess that remains to be seen, but at least he graduated.
Yeah, graduated. I remember thinking that I was going to be so emotional when Tiara graduated, and I didn't. I think when Anthony graduates, I'm going to be in bad shape. I thought about that as I watched just kids graduate, like I said, that weren't even mine. And I felt nostalgic throughout the day. And I'm thinking...
You were very reflective.
I was. And I feel like it's going to be more so when my son graduates.
And what's the difference? That you're older, you've experienced more life, that it's your last? I'm
older, it's my last. My father won't be there to see it. Neither will my father-in-law. My mother-in-law has been ill. Don't know if she'll make it to see it. And so all those things I probably shouldn't think about, but I do. And, so yeah, I think about that. It's
big. So my dad was not with us, of course, physically. I mean, he was definitely with us in spirit. You say that to get you through it, and it's true, and, all that, but he wasn't there. And there were a few things that we thought about or prepared for ahead of time. My parents, but my dad was the driving force behind buying Joseph his class ring that he wore. And my dad always had a handkerchief in his pocket. And so my mom brought handkerchiefs for us all to boo-hoo into. And I went and got my mom, and we drove her to graduation, and then I went back up to her house and stayed the night with her after graduation. And I slept in my dad's room, the master bedroom. After a period of time, my dad slept in by himself. He had so many health problems and the different things and whatever, that my mom didn't sleep in there, and she still doesn't sleep in there. But I slept in there. I thought maybe I would dream about him if I was in there, if that sounds silly. I don't know, but because I haven't had a dream about him in a very long time.
I've had one dream about my dad.
Yeah, it was major too.
It was it was a big one, but I've had one dream about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't dream a lot though.
Yeah, I do. I'm a very vivid dreamer.
I've always been like that. I don't dream a lot.
Yeah. But but we got through it. I mean, and he wasn't there, and it was different. But we're still in the period of time where we're handling a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
We haven't had his funeral, or what we're now calling a celebration of life. We haven't done that yet. And we are this summer. Yeah. We're planning it on August 15th, which is a Sunday, which happens to be his birthday. And so, that'll hopefully help give us all some, putting some things to rest that still feel pretty raw. I don't know, that kind of closure, an opportunity to all be together to say goodbye.
Yeah, that helps.
Maybe.
No, it helps. I've been through it. It helps. And then it resets when they leave, though. A little bit. You had your first Christmas without him.
We did.
And Thanksgiving. The Father's Day is going to be tough. That.
Yep, I'm already aware. Memorial Day was tough. My father was a huge fan of those patriotic holidays.
Yeah.
My mom put out all the flags like he would have wanted, and all that.
Yeah.
But Father's Day is going to be...
Yeah, me and my dad used to go to breakfast every Sunday in IHOP. That was his favorite spot. And in later years, all the generations when it would be me, him, my cousin, and my uncle, and my grandfather. We would all go.
Yeah. Whenever they're... Especially in recent years when we were trying to keep my dad nourished and fed and whatever. I mean, there came a time where we had no idea what to give him because he didn't need or really want anything anymore. And so my tradition turned into, for some of these gift-giving holidays, his birthday, Father's Day, things like that, I would make him some food. He loved my homemade coconut ice cream. I gave that to him a few times a year.
Nice.
Or on Father's Day last year, I made empanadas. And he loved them. He couldn't. I only brought a few because he just didn't have the appetite or whatever. I found out later he shared them with my brother, which is fine, Dad. I made them for you.
He had to.
Yeah. But we were talking about that a little for his celebration of life in August. That we're having it catered, but we're gonna make sure that some of those homemade favorites are there. Like, he quit drinking. At some point, he lost his taste for alcohol, and he wasn't a lush or anything, but he's known for enjoying a glass of scotch. And when he lost his taste for that, we all were like, "Oh God, what do we do? Like, we could always just get him a bottle of scotch." But he got a real sweet tooth. So one year we gave him a basket full of all kinds of different candy. And I think that must have been his favorite because I still hear about that too. Remember when you gave Dad that basket of candy bars?
Oh yes, that means you told her how much you liked it. That's what that means.
Yeah. Yep. So yes, I think the last time we introduced season 3, I talked about how it got harder for a minute before it got easier. I kind of took a big step back. I spent a weekend in bed.
That's because just kept going.
Yeah.
Okay, like we did a podcast. Was it like the week he passed away?
We did.
And I was, you don't want to say lucky when you're furloughed from your job.
Right.
Right?
But you did have some built-in time.
Right. So 2 months after my dad died, less than 2 months, I got furloughed because of the pandemic, and I was home 1 month. And that slowed me down. No coaching, no work, just being home with my son, making sure he did his work, watching the news, talking to you.
Yeah.
That's what I told Joe today. I was like, yeah, my job was texting Sue for a month.
That's right.
And so that, looking back on that, I think it really helped me a lot. Taking care of stuff that my mom needed too, and I could put my entire attention into it. I wasn't at work, you know what I mean. So you kept going.
I did.
And as you were doing it, I thought to myself, well, there's gonna come a time
Can catch up.
where she's just not, And I remember we went golfing once, and Joe said something about the podcast. I said, no, we're not doing that right now. She said, well, why you say that? Because she hasn't mentioned it.
Yeah.
And she always talks about it. He started laughing. I was like, she's not talking about it because she needs a break.
Yeah.
She needs to be by herself. And so I understand that. But I had a lot of that time because of the furlough. So they say, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
He sat me down for a month. First time I had ever been out of work since I started working.
Yeah.
So it's coming around, but 30-something days we'll be in Cancun.
So let's talk about that for a minute. So, family, you had a tradition of a family vacation in the summer.
Yes. So in 2007, we were supposed to go on a family reunion, and it was in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, okay.
It was in Myrtle Beach, and the prices we felt like were too expensive. And my grandmother was like, I'm not paying this to go to Myrtle Beach, blah, blah. And I said to her, hey, we don't have to go to a family reunion and spend time together. And we could just go on vacation. And she said, oh, great, you plan it. And we ended up planning it. Me, my cousin, and my wife watched a bunch of DVDs. He was living with me at the time. And we settled on Carnival Cruise Line. This is not an advertisement.
But if you wanted to sponsor us, call me.
And from 2008 until 2019, we went on a cruise every year with different family members, friends. We called it the Friends and Family Cruise. Had a group on Facebook. And we were all ready to go in 2000. No, it's 08 to 2018. When did the pandemic was 2020, right?
2020, yeah.
Okay, so from 08 to 19 we went. We were all set to go in 2020. And then the pandemic hit. And at the time, you're thinking, well, this is not going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
I've never lived through anything like that. All right, a couple people got the flu. We all right. So they canceled our cruise and offered to put it to 2021. So that's what I did. And, we were revved up to do that. And then around January, they offered us a refund. And I thought to myself, now we're in almost a year into this thing. We know what's what. There's no way cruising is going to be the same. And I am a cruise enthusiast. Like, I'm part of cruise groups all over Facebook. I know everything there is to know about cruising. Like, I could be a personal vacation planner at Carnival. But I wanted the money because I didn't think the experience was going to be the same. And everybody knew that I canceled. And I told everybody, I'm canceling. I'm going to probably try to do something. Not many people reached out to find out what else I was doing. And that's just a fact. It is what it is. Like, you don't got to travel with me. But you did. and some other friends of ours did, and so we decided we're just gonna go somewhere together, and so that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing in a month.
In a month.
In a month.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
I'm excited.
So our family, the O'Lear family, vacations for us over the years have felt like vacations for the kids, but it was always coming down to visit my mom and dad. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, they live at the beach. They have a pool in their community. They'd go run around. You know, my dad would have them all over the place doing different things. This is going to blow. They're going to be like, I mean, mind's blown. Because, you know, they've stayed in hotels. They haven't flown since they were little. But, you know, to get on a plane, to go get your passport, to get on a plane, to fly to another country, to stay in a resort, they haven't done anything like that.
My kids are spoiled. Because for his entire life, Anthony has cruised. Mm-hmm. He would get these awards for youngest platinum cruiser.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
The last 2 years he got the youngest platinum. He's platinum.
Wow. Wow.
He's a platinum cruiser. Mm-hmm. He's 13. Mm-hmm. So he's never stayed at a resort. He's been to like the Nickelodeon resort, but he's never stayed. So it would be a different experience. And he has not flown a lot either. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's spoiled.
Wow.
Now, like he's been he cruised every year from 8 months old until he was 12.
Until 2019?
Yeah, until he was 12.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. I think we can all use it.
Yes.
We can all use the time.
Definitely need the break.
And I think it's hilarious that we haven't even gone on this vacation and we're already talking about next year.
That's what happens, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember our first cruise. It was like 2 days in. And we were at dinner. And I was so worried because my family is so different. Mm-hmm. Like, I think everybody has their own idea of fun. Like, even, like, the O'Lears seem like, we're going to go swim with the dolphins. We're going to scuba. We're doing, and the Hamptons are like, you laying down. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody.
I think that you have a misconception for one. We'll do one thing like that. I'll take the kids on one excursion.
This is what I'm saying.
And then I'm laying down.
Everybody has their idea of vacation. Mm-hmm. And the reason we picked...
sit still.
Yeah. The reason we picked the cruise is because it could fit everybody.
Yeah, everybody. There's something for everybody.
Right. And the resort is the same way.
Yeah. You can do as much or as little
as you want to. And then you can still see everybody at dinner.
I'll have dinner.
That's it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be beholden. You don't got to go everywhere this person is going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And I remember the second or third night, and everybody was having a good time. And my grandmother turned to me and said, "So where are we cruising next year?" Mm-hmm. And that's how it began. Mm-hmm. And then every year people would be asking me in the middle, "Where are we going next year?" And I'd go to the deck, to our corner, wind the computer, and start looking. And it's, I don't know. I don't know if I like to do it, but it's something I'm good at. Mm-hmm. Like I'm good at finding. For the cruises, it's like we gotta find a ship that everybody can afford, mm-hmm. because we would have family flying from out of town. Mm-hmm. That's already an expense. Like my sister-in-law used to pay the most. Mm-hmm. She had 3 kids, and it was her and her husband, mm-hmm. and they were flying from New Jersey. Yeah. So maybe the newest boat, the fanciest boat, might be good for me and my wife, but we only drive into the port. Right. We got one cost, and so yeah, in another life, maybe I could have been a travel agent.
Well, it's gonna be good. I'm really excited about it. It's
fun.
And we're for the most part fully vaccinated.
Yes, I'm fully vaccinated now.
I am too. Joe is too.
Yeah,
Carolyn will be.
Yeah, and so will Anthony. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. The vaccination was interesting.
Yeah. I guess that is something that happened since we haven't recorded. We've been vaccinated.
I got my first one. Did I get it in March? I don't know.
You were the first one of us. I think.
I went and got mine.
It was when it was still hard to get.
Right. I got lucky because through my association with the school system, because I was a coach and on their payroll, I was able to get the shot. Mm-hmm. And I got the first one, and your arm hurts. And I know the science behind it, but damn it, mm-hmm. Your arm hurts a lot. Mm-hmm. But I was cool other than that. And then the next night, I was so cold, and I checked my temperature, and it was only 99. I'm like, what is happening? And then I was so tired, went to sleep, woke up, was fine. Sweated a little bit, gone. Second shot, again, arm was hurting. And I didn't have the chills, but I was just so lethargic for 2 days, and then going again.
I got laid out both times.
You did.
Both times.
Yeah.
Joe, neither one. He was sore arm, a little sleepy. I got laid out both times. Day off work.
And I don't know what that means. Does that mean like if we would have got it, we would have been in bad shape? Or does that mean?
Possible.
Or does that mean our immune system was rallying to the?
I mean, I really don't know what it means, and I don't care. Like, I'm not complaining about it. But I have always wondered, because I'm autoimmune. I have some autoimmune stuff that I always felt like I needed to take particular care, because I was in one of those groups that they said. And I feel the same way about my son. He grew up with asthma, and he's grown out of it a lot. He doesn't have the rescue inhaler anymore. He hasn't used the nebulizer in years. But it was just a couple years ago, he overexerted playing basketball and had an exercise-induced asthma episode for a few days. The crackle wasn't horrible, but,
It is amazing how much your son is like mine. Oh, the other way around, I should say, because how much Anthony had asthma as a kid, too. And had a nebulizer and all that, too.
Yep. Yeah. But he doesn't want the shot. And when we were really in the beginning of the pandemic and we were terrified and we were seeing the images from Italy and all of that, I was terrified for him because it was so upper respiratory. And I couldn't make him take it. He in the beginning we all took it pretty seriously, I think, but he got tired of restrictions quickly.
Yeah, 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I gotta go out, man.
And I still, I still wish, that he was a little more concerned about stuff like that, but they think they're bulletproof.
Yeah, he's 18 now.
He's 18, and that's it. I probably could have worked to get him to do it, but I didn't. Like, it needed to be his decision.
You want him to be an independent thinker.
Yeah, I need it to be his decision. So
it was the same thing with my son, because my wife has not got the vaccine, and I don't know when she's going to get it or if she's going to get it. So he had to make his own decision. And all I did was lay out, the facts. And he decided he was going to get it.
Yeah, Carolyn too, and she was like, "No, I'm in."
I'm a hypochondriac, so I knew I was going to get it when it was available. I like to not have to worry about stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least the major stuff.
Carolyn and I got our hair trimmed last week, the day of graduation, and I had to sit and listen to my hairdresser talk about how she convinced her girls not to get it because she was worried it would mean that they wouldn't be able to have babies. And she hears all these stories in her chair of women who had gone through menopause and then spontaneously started menstruating again after they got the shot, and this and that. And then she'll say, "Oh, but I don't watch the news and I'm not on Facebook." Well, where do you get all this stupid misinformation bullshit, lady? Like, I'll be in her chair 2 or 3 times and it's perfectly pleasant, and then one day a topic will come up and I'm like, "Oh, I'm never coming here again." Except she gives me a really good haircut. She understands all my cowlicks and all that shit, so I always end up back there. Here, take my money.
Take my money. Please do not talk anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to stay on the list of safe topics. Dogs. We can talk about our dogs.
That must have been the longest haircut ever.
Well, it's funny, actually, because we were talking about this vaccine stuff, and I was just about to get really, let the irritation, and Carolyn walked over. She'd been sitting on the couch, and I thought maybe she heard it or saw it and was coming to diffuse. But she had just texted with you because I hadn't been checking my phone about the Matanzas girls basketball coach.
Oh, yeah.
Announcement. We've had a lot of changeover, ladies and gentlemen, in the varsity basketball scene here in Flagler County, both for boys and now a girls.
That was
team.
the day of graduation? I didn't realize.
That was graduation day. So
yeah, so
that thwarted my my, irritation.
So both our varsity coaches in our town left.
Boys varsity coaches.
Boys varsity left.
Mm-hmm. 2 new coaches from out of the county.
Yes.
From other places.
Yes. I've met the new coach at FPC, and I think he's going to put some good things in place. I don't know anything about the new coach over at Matanzas, but
we'll see.
Onward and upward for them, right?
That's right.
Good for them for taking the challenge. And then the girls' coach at Matanzas left, who I am friends with, and I called him when I found out about it. It was a tough decision for him. Man, I hate that.
I know. He would have had Carolyn over there.
I think so.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think so. Now, who knows?
We'll see.
Who knows who they're going to hire over there? I don't know.
So that's a lot of what has kept us busy in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And we had... I was so on top of getting guests scheduled through whatever that platform is that we use, Squadcast. And I screwed up one, and we had some other things come up, and then I get a text from her, and I'm like, oh shit, just out of my head, because we had just had stuff happening that weekend, and then we were on top of it for our second one, Karen, and I had a total technology meltdown. I couldn't get.
You were so mad that day.
I was so mad.
Oh,
I
my
did.
God.
So I spent an entire afternoon with my laptop clearing stuff, getting rid of stuff, deleting stuff, doing all the updates that had been waiting to be done, all of it. So we're good to go now. This is my favorite laptop I've ever had, and it's always done a great job for me, but I had been neglecting her. I ran the backup, did all of it. So I'm going to, tail firmly planted between legs, going to reach back out to Lisa and Karen and get them rescheduled, and hopefully we can get those episodes recorded before we leave.
Yeah.
But we are, this season, we're talking about family. It is, I think, a natural progression from our community episode to talk about family. We did record a beautiful episode with my boy Gio, who talked a little bit about how he came, about his family, how he became part of ours, and sort of through the eyes of his music, which is his music production is in full swing right now because he's setting up a studio out in his bedroom. But we have a couple different looks that we're taking at family in season 3, aside from our families and our friends that have become family. I mean, we have definitely become family, our small group of friends here, but we have a couple very interesting guests coming up. Lisa Robin Young, who took a trip to sort of investigate genealogy, like her family tree, with her sister, I believe, on what would have been her father's 100th birthday.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, and then Karen Anderson, we will also reschedule with, who has she is a life coach and an author, and does a lot of work in the toxic mother relationships, mother-daughter relationships.
Yes, the book was good.
Yeah, and more to come even after that. So family's a big, broad topic. I think we'll have a lot to bring to the table.
Are we going to do a Father's Day episode? Is that where, are we going to?
I think we need to.
Are we going to salute the fathers?
Absolutely, Johnny. We can do it for a week if you want to.
Father's Day week. Shout out to my wife.
But yes, I think it's super important that we talk about fathers, and I have actually a couple ideas about that. Because,
okay, cool.
And one of them we've talked about a little bit, even maybe with the kids and being coached by your fathers.
I would love to get my son on here.
Yeah, but your eldest child could certainly. They've told me that they would come on the show too.
Tiara could do it. She, definitely an authority on me. And Tiara got the young version of me who was, I don't know if I was tougher, But, especially with girls, it's different.
It's different.
With Tiara, it was different. And Tiara's always going to love you. You use the right pronoun and everything. Boy, you hit what? We need to highlight that. I still get used to that. So,
and I have to get used to it too, but I try.
Yeah, well, I tried to tell Tiara, like, it's a grammar thing for me. Like, it's not really even...
Well, and you've had, I don't know how old they are, but you've had many, many more years. You have to really work to retrain. And sometimes people misgender on purpose, and it's disrespect. So Tiara... When I do it, it's an accident,
yeah,
truly.
Tiara let me slide. As long as you acknowledge, you can... Okay, cool. I acknowledge you all the time.
Yeah, but I think that would be fun. So we have some really cool things in store. So, folks, if you made it through this episode and you're still with us and fans of the strongly worded empire, we appreciate you. And I have really appreciated hearing from the folks who have reached out and wondered if we were ever coming back. We are. Yeah. We just, it was tough. It was tough. I miscalculated how time consuming launching Flagler United while finishing up with our rec league and school and my job and you getting a new job, like how the toll all of this was going to take. Yeah. And I really am looking forward to having some time to refocus on our show.
Yeah, because we have a lot of fun doing it.
We have a lot of fun, and I think we have some great conversations. And I really enjoy hearing what you all think who are listening. And if you think really awesome things after you hear this, be so happy that we're back that you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you have issues, just shoot us a quick email. But it already feels good to be back. Yes. And
we will see you next week.
We will absolutely see you next week. It's going to be, season 3 is going to be a good one. So find us on Instagram at The Strongly Worded Pod. Join our Facebook group, The Strongly Worded Pod group. We do have a Facebook page too, but really all we do is link our show there. If you really want to talk with us and engage, come to The Strongly Worded Pod group. I have just discovered the super fun that is TikTok.
We have a TikTok.
We have a TikTok, but I didn't know what to do with it. Like, I didn't bother it, and it didn't bother me. But somehow, I have. So I'm gonna figure out some TikTok for us. We're on YouTube, and of course, our Twitter. Strongly Worded P. Twitter, give us some more letters. Just 2. That's really all we need. All we need are 2 more letters.
Can we make it a strongly worded pod?
I know. I just need 2 more letters. All right, Johnny. Welcome back to the studio.
Yes. It's been so long.
It's been so long, but I'm glad we're back, and I hope you all are glad we're back, too. We will see you next week. Strongly worded with John. I haven't listened to the song in a while.
I know. Mm-hmm. People still listening, though.
I know.
I've been taking, we still had some downloads.
Mm-hmm. And we're still getting some likes on the Facebook. This Strongly Worded podcast is written and produced by Johnny Hampton and Sue O'Lear. Music production and vocals by Marshall Max LaMont Hamilton, and cover art by Samantha Shakes.